All right. Well, thank you, Grayson, for showing how simple and easy it is to open an account. That took like 5-10 minutes to open an account. Okay. Yeah.
Pretty simple.
Really, really simple.
Yep.
So now let's get into actually investing in gold and silver leases.
Okay.
So what lease opportunities are there to invest in?
Well, right now, Monetary Metals, I believe, has 8 different leases running. So we're talking about different businesses from all around the world are leasing gold from Monetary Metals. And there are a lot of them in the pipeline as people are figuring out what Monetary Metals is doing. I mean, we're really reestablishing this around the world as a source of capital for people in the metal business.
So of those 8 leases, how many are gold and how many are silver leases?
Right now there's only 1 silver lease running, but there are a number in the works. The rest of them, I believe there are 8 gold leases. But
okay, great. So we can do a video when those are coming.
For sure.
Okay,
for sure.
Be great.
Yeah. So
this is a big question we get is, okay, so if the price of gold goes up, so gold, let's just say we started the year at 2,000 and goes up to 2,500 at the end of the year. So are you going to be taxed on that capital gain?
No.
Okay. So no gains are taxed?
No.
No matter what the metal, so the metal goes up or down, and no gains are going to be taxed?
Correct.
Okay, perfect. We touched on this a little bit, but what happens with the gold or silver in the lease once the lease is over?
Well, most of these leases are renewing. So if you don't want to participate, you can simply opt out through your web portal, opt out of participating when the lease renews. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, and at any time you can pull money. You have separate accounts at Monetary Metals. You can pull money out of your lease account into a holding account, and you can withdraw whenever you care to.
Okay. So during the lease, some people have asked, is there a lockup on the metal?
So really a lockup, or the liquidity is you may have to wait. You should assume you have to wait 1 year until that lease has matured.
Okay.
You can at any time say, I'm not going to participate when it renews. So you can set that parameter there, but you should assume that you'll have to wait until the lease matures.
Okay.
1 year.
Of those 8 leases, is there any leases that are more than a year?
No, a lease cannot be more than a year.
Okay, perfect. One of the biggest is, does Monetary Metals cover insurance on the metal?
Yes, at all times the metal is insured on deposit, like I say, at one of the major depositories.
Okay. So if somebody needed their metal back before that year lease is over, you mentioned some people feel that, is that possible to get their metal back in a year?
Yeah, it's possible. Just don't assume that it's going to happen.
Okay. Can the leasee sell the gold or the silver?
No, it's not their property.
Okay.
So a leasee at all times, this metal is owned by the depositor at Monetary Metals.
Okay.
So they do not have the authority to lease it.
Okay.
Or, excuse me, to sell it.
So what type of companies does Monetary Metals lease gold and silver to?
Yeah, so the most common businesses are bullion dealers, jewelers, and refiners within the gold and silver and platinum space.
Okay, and there is a link on Monetary Metals where they can look at all the leases.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So I know I've had several people ask me this. So how does Monetary Metals make money?
Well, again, think in conventional banking terms. There is a leasee that's willing to pay gold interest on the gold that they're leasing. Whatever that percentage is, there's a split between what goes to Monetary Metals and what goes to the end user, the depositor, the leaseor.
Okay.
Does that
Yes.
make sense?
Yeah. So where does Monetary Metals actually store the physical gold and silver?
Physical gold is going to be at, the Delaware depository is the main one that we're using right now. It can be on a depository at the leasee, but again, it's still in the leaseor's name, even if it's there.
Okay. So we did have a question. It was actually a comment on our video that, what would Monetary Metals do if gold was illegal? So FDR style, 1933, if we had, if that came about, what would Monetary Metals do in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, we've had this question quite a bit. I mean, it's a reasonable question, but we do have to understand that when FDR did this back in 32 or 33?
32.
When he did that, gold was the base of the monetary system. They had control and they wanted more control over it. The bankers have been very clever about pushing gold outside to be just another financial asset. So if they're going to make that illegal, are they going to make owning bonds illegal? Are they going to make owning cars, extra collective cars illegal, artwork, just other assets that people consider financial? Are they going to make those illegal? I can't predict the actions of politicians, but I want to make that distinction clear that it is completely different than 1933.
Yeah, and one example I always use to customers is that, gold was obviously money, as you mentioned, but the rest of the world really couldn't buy gold. Today you have a lot of the world that is able to participate and buy physical gold.
Right.
Just go to Asia and you'll see that. And so if they did, make FDR style gold illegal, the rest of the world, in my opinion, would just laugh, dump their dollars and buy gold.
Well, and I
or whatever currency it is.
Yeah, I don't want to go off on a completely different tangent, but understand right now the world center of gold is moving, not officially, but just de facto. The world center of gold is moving to Dubai from London. And the people all over the Middle East now, their local currency, they're just using day by day. They are not saving any of their money in their local currencies. It's either US dollars or gold that they're saving their money in. Gold is already returned as part of the financial system to those people. And it's coming here too. It's only a matter of time.
Definitely. So basically the only issues, Greyson, that I've gotten from feedback on people that they don't open an account is they just have some trust issues. So what made you trust Monetary Metals? Like, I've had some people comment, I want to see how Monetary Metals is doing in another 5 years before, I invest with them. So what made you finally comfortable? Because when you invested with Monetary Metals, that was 2019.
Yeah.
What made you fully trust Monetary Metals to put the type of capital that you have into Monetary Metals?
Yeah, and I spent a lot of time investigating Monetary Metals and checking out the history of Monetary Metals, and I did spend a lot of time talking to some of the guys in the back office, the relationship managers at Monetary Metals. So I did take my time getting going, and even at that, when I decided to move forward, I didn't push all in. So I did a little bit of that crawl, walk, run we were talking about. I don't know if 3 times is the exact right number, but that's probably, for me, that's probably about right. I probably have 3 times as much as I started with there. Is that answer your question?
So just getting to know and having a relationship. Yeah. So it's just a relationship that finally pushed you over, and then now you golf with Keith, you go out with Keith.
Yeah.
So you guys are just great friends. So that's.
Yeah, I trust what everyone is doing there. They continually do what they say they're going to do, and all the processes continue to improve. All of the 65 leases now, I think, not one issue with one lease, not one.
So what would you say to somebody that doesn't know Keith and doesn't have a personal relationship? What would you tell those people to make them feel comfortable about investing with Monetary Metals?
Just spend some time with it and start small, I guess, is what I would say. Yeah, start small, and you're going to feel more comfortable as time goes on. And, maybe it would help a little bit if I showed people what they're going to see when they log in. Should we do that? Okay. Okay, so here we go, logging in, and we showed you how to open an account. This is a fictitious account that we're going to log into, but it's going to show you how the Monetary Metals web interface is. So at any time you can log in and check out what's going on with your holdings. Rosalind Lewis is not a real person. I'm not sure why we put a fictitious account that has $600,000, but that's what we did. Not a lot of people are going to be depositing that much, but that's fine. If you have 600,000 burning a hole in your pocket and you'd rather have it in gold and silver, that's great. Open the account. So you log in here, Rosalind Lewis, fictitious lady. Here's the gold and silver. London closes will always be up in the upper right. And Dave, a lot like you're logging into any bank account, right? You've got your tabs, your pull downs for exactly what you want to take a look at. Just a broad balance, an overall total of what you've got going on. You've got gold, silver, and US dollars. this example, Rosalind has $5,000. Maybe she's waiting. Maybe she deposited the money for another purchase. But here's her silver total in ounces and in dollars. Gold total in ounces and in dollars. And you can play around with the charts and change the charts from dollars to ounces and back and forth if you want to view your holdings differently. But as we scroll down here on the total balance, it's going to show a chart of the interest that you've earned. And again, we've got this in ounce terms, and we can change that to dollar terms if you want to. But over time, you can see that Rosalind has earned in silver. This is the interest she's earned, or I'm sorry, that's gold. And in silver, she's earned this amount. And you can play with the charts and put the however you want to see visually represent the visual representation of your earnings. You can do that. This is where we see the yield as far as a breakdown lease to lease, starting with the total. Again, the chart we were just looking at and I was messing with. But here's where we go down to the different leases. And these are historical leases that we've done. Some of these are currently active. Some of them are not. Again, this is a fictitious account just to show you how this looks. But for example, the Lefebvre lease, how many ounces Rosalind has in this lease, the interest rate she's earning, and the maturity date. And again, fictitious, but none of these maturity dates will ever be more than a year out. Rosalind is obviously an accredited investor, and in this example, she has some of her metal, 35 ounces of gold in a gold bond, a 19% yield on that. Again, completely different animal when we go into the bonds, and I just don't need to talk about that specifically because they're securities. Yep. So they're highly regulated. So just bear with me on that when I speak just in generalities about the bonds. So this is on the gold side. You can see every different lease that Rosalind's fictitious account is in, the interest rate being paid, and these are all actually accurate numbers. And her lease average yield 2.84 for the entire lease portfolio right now at Monetary Metals. The weighted average is 3.09%. And then here's a silver lease, and this is this isn't current. There was a silver lease with Money Metals Exchange paying 2.2%. But again, this is fictitious. It's showing you the breakdown between the gold and the silver leases on one pull down. Then you can always log in and download statements. We don't have that for the fictitious account. But then when we're looking at the leases, you can filter those however you want. And as more leases are coming on, this filtering mechanism will be good. You'll be able to see an entire explanation page for each lease that's coming up. And then you can't time these things perfectly, but should be within a month that people will be able to attach their checking accounts to their Monetary Metals accounts. So you could just come in here and say, hey, I want to purchase some gold, do a $5,000 purchase, hit proceed. It's going to debit your bank account and move forward from there. And another neat thing, and this will be a little ways out after we attach or allow people to attach their checking accounts to Monetary Metals, you can participate in a monthly program. Yeah. We're going to remove the minimum fee. So that right now, I believe the minimum fee for a purchase is $25. But you could enter the program and say $200 a month. I want debited from my checking account, and once a month it's going to go into a gold purchase. So you'll get the 0.09, whatever the math would turn out to be. You can do that with silver. You can even do that with platinum if you want. We don't have any platinum leases going right now, but there are some of those that are possible down the road.
So the ACH, this will just take it directly out of account, so people don't need to be sending it to
Correct.
you. You're taking it out.
Correct.
Perfect.
Correct.
And
But just like your Chase account, you'll be able to manage this yourself.
Yeah. Which we commented. When I opened an account, my wife was with me and mentioned that this is easier than open up using an online banking. That this is how easy and simple it was to use.
Yep. Just again, a broad overview. But when you're in the account, you decide you want to send some metal. I have metal in my possession. Ship it, and you can download again the sheet that you're going to explain exactly what you're going to mail in. Send that off, and they will get you the UPS shipping label that is insured.
So all insurance both ways is covered by Monetary Metals?
Correct.
Yeah. Thanks for watching the videos, everybody. Hoped the videos helped you understand monetary metals and answered all of your questions. If you do have any further questions, please and thank you, send an email to coinhuskers@gmail.com. Again, coinhuskers@gmail.com, and we'll get you in touch with somebody from Monetary Metals.